Life isn't forever, and most of us forgetting it between the days. We all know it, and in order to understand where we are going to, we need to look in the past. We also need to look in the sky and to see the patterns and the astrology or other method to realize the present, the past, then to project on the future. In this video, I'm going to take you to a nice journey from the last century, and we'll take you into 2031. Before we started this decade, I mentioned that this is going to be a new world order indicated by Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, an event that happened around every 500 years, and we saw many important events around it. But there are so many other histories and stories that happened between those phases. And I'm going to scan here through another approach of astrology, considered to be a sidereal point of view or just astronomy point of view, just through observing the sky in a very certain specific area. What happened when the planets aligned around this area? And just will pass with you from the beginning of the century. But I will jump between the dates in different way just to bring here an idea. So, are you ready for this? Look at this. This is the sky, the area between Gemini and Taurus. The Wheel of Fortune is organized when we are looking in astrology through a different angle, and there are so many other stars that can enabling us to even give more details than just the planets of our solar system. In this area, the sun is passing every June around the sun solstice. This is the longest day of the year, the short in the northern hemisphere, and the shortest day of the year in the southern hemisphere. Exactly here between the Taurus, between Gemini, and above the star of Betelgeuse. Look at this, what this man is holding as a winner, and there is the sun passing exactly on this area. And I'm going to take you in a journey just to look in this part of the world around the sun solstice, which is representing the major events that happening months after some planets to come. So of course we are looking right now on the last eclipse area. It's not the exact day, the 2001. The last eclipse was exactly on this area in 21st of June 2020, and also in 2001. And we know that what happened few months after this. But look what happened in this time frame. Jupiter was near to the zone. Also Mercury we see here. Very interesting symbolism. Mercury, this is the sign of Mercury. Gemini, twins. And Jupiter is expanding everything to be a big show, and also speaking about who is the bigger, and also Jupiter is speaking about flights, airplanes. Also, we are seeing in a very interesting point, Saturn just in the left eye of the Taurus, of the bull. And Saturn is about the structure. And look what line they are doing here, all of them. Saturn is a restrictor, and it's sitting in this time in Taurus. Who is holding the money? What is the structure? Something that is related to all structure, which is a lot of value. And Jupiter is coming here with Mercury near to the sun. And here what we got after this, of course, event that changed a lot of behaviors since then, and we are traveling differently than how we traveled before this. Let's move on. In 1973, exactly in this area, who was here? Saturn. Saturn is the opposite character of Jupiter, is shrinking. And it was in this area near to the Sun, and Venus was here, and Mercury in Gemini. They're mostly passing near to the Sun and always will be around these areas, as we will see it forward. What happened in 1973? This is a very important point. Look where Saturn is located, exactly on the right corner of the bull. We will see what else is happened around this timing or other planets in this exact location. Before it was Mercury, Jupiter was above it, but still, in the previous slide, right? So in 1973 wasn't an easy year at all. It was very aggressive. And even I'm showing you just few examples of what happened. You could continue investigate what happened in this year around the world. We are all one, and we are all influenced by the same energies. The oil embargo, the Arab oil embargo, that's what happened just before the Yom Kippur War. The Arab countries decided not to sell oil to all countries that supported Israel, and the price of oil rose in 400% from $3 to $12 globally. And this is caused to oil crisis and shock. And this what actually led to the petrodollar that finally also arrived to another crisis in 1979. But this was about the energy and the control, who was sitting on the most demanded resources to energy. Yom Kippur also happened in October 1973, and 7 countries, Arab countries, attacked in the most holy day of the Jewish people in Israel, and really was a big shock and trauma that until today there are stories, songs, and many memories. Yeah. So Yom Kippur happened exactly on October 25th, and it was a surprise attack on Israel position, and it was a very hard event. Israel finally conquered the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt and the Golan Heights from the Syrian in order to protect itself. Of course, it was a win to Israel. Very important one, because if you remember where I showed you in 1973, the position of Saturn on the right corner of the bull, this is also what gave strength to Israel. Let's look on 1947. You probably should stop the video from time to time just to go back and to compare. This is 1947. Around June, the sun again is passing here, sun solstice. And who was here? Uranus. Uranus was here. Still, next year in 1948 was already here. But Uranus is here. Okay? And also it was very near to almost eclipse. Almost, like the moon passed above the sun. Wasn't eclipse, but it's like almost. Okay? Venus was here where Saturn was in 2001. Okay? And what happened around this time? Uranus speaking about distrust, about surprise, about change of control. The UK started to withdraw out from Asia and the Middle East. And what happened? The India-Pakistan war. and this thing haven't solved until today. Yeah, it's known as the First Kashmir War, and it was, as you can read with me. Let's look on 1948. What happened this day? Here is Uranus, and here is the Sun, 1 year after. Who born in 1948? Uranus is here. Things that really changed the borders, and this what happened. New countries appeared. New division of countries. And this is the Independence Day of Israel, just 1 month before this sun solstice time, but directly led to the Arab-Israeli war. And this was a very important event that until today, speaking about the regions, and again, many countries around Israel attacked it and not accepted it to be a Jewish country in the Middle East. And also the Chinese Civil War. The communists gained control of mainland China and established the People's Republic of China in 1949, forcing the leadership of the Republic of China to retreat to the island of Taiwan. We see a major countries and regime change around this time when Uranus was in the area, and this is a very important event to what I'm leading you until the end of this presentation. Let's look on 1914. What happened around this time? Saturn was here. Saturn was here also before. Where we saw Saturn? Go back to check. But this is the beginning of the First World War I. And of course, very traumatic event that lasted until 1918. And here is 1918. What happened here? Jupiter, the expander. Something that happened also when 2001, what brought the September 11 after this. And this finished by the German Revolution that really led to the end of the World War I. We saw the same position and the game between Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter passing on the area of between Gemini and Taurus, where the sun solstice happening. Let's look on 1913. Very interesting timing. Look who is here. Saturn on the head of the bull. Saturn is also ruling timing and structure, but also timing and karma. Mercury is like the mind that is measuring, and they are just aligned with the sun. See this? What happened in 1913? Yeah, reminds you something? Yeah, this is the common year to start the Gregorian calendar, and the common year starting on Tuesday of the Julian calendar. A new time measurement of the structure of our time of the year. And look how interesting that after changing the time with Saturn, 1 year after, we received the World War I. The Gregorian calendar was first introduced in 1582. This is around the area that Saturn and Pluto met for the last time in Capricorn. about a structure, something that we just started in 2020, January 2020, a new concept of time. Indeed, it wasn't accepted, and yeah, the Gregorian calendar, also known as the Western or Christian calendar, is the most widely used calendar in the world today, but wasn't accepted from then, only from 1913. So what next? Are you curious? Let's see it together. 2031, 11 years from here. Look what is coming. Saturn will be on the head of the bull, where it was when before the World War I. And Uranus is here exactly when Israel born in 1948. And not just Israel, also China. This is enough examples to understand how crazy important is it. And like in 1913, and I dedicated months ago videos together with the speculation about the Seattle, the 311, that was very much interesting phase that people created a lot of predictions based on different symbolism.
Yesterday I was sitting on Seattle. I couldn't arrive to this before it, and I actually don't very much convinced that something that disaster to the theories that I was reading will happen there. But it seems that in between 10 to 12 years from now, yes, then I see a big case to worry, and this will be a time that again Jupiter will be in Sagittarius, but in the progression planets I see Mars will oppose Mars there, and other indicators that may indicate to me something that will be more of disaster. And actually by the history of Seattle, it had already some Armageddons inside all the Seattle history, specifically from the Second World War. So I'm not very much convinced that this will happen maybe the November 3rd of this year, 2019, but maybe in 2030 or 2031.
But I checked that nothing seems to be crazy happening in 2019. But I say that is around 2031. You can check in the video months ago. And this is again the 13. The 13 is the exact location where the star Sirius is located, by the way. And I'm just recording this video today on June 24, 2020, when Mercury retrograde in Cancer in 13 degrees on Sirius. So the 3-1-1-3 are very much important revelation timing, and Saturn and Uranus will be here. This is no Jupiter. This is a new alignment of time. What actually led to World War I, to new countries, to different empires to withdraw from the area, and new countries started to arrange. Of course, many events happened between all of those. We can read the history. We can even remember from what we learned in school. But this seems to me like the option of World War III. Not before. All the events that are going to take us in this decade are going to give the structure to it. And we are moving to a lot of air element. In 2031, Saturn, which you see here, will be in Gemini. This is the sidereal point of view. And it will be in Gemini. And Pluto will be in Aquarius. Both air signs. This is speaking that we are heading and speaking about things in space. It could be meteor or any any celestial body that may provoke such event, but this is something about structure between the unexpected and the countries and the borders we are familiar today. I don't feel that in this decade we are going to have such risk. We have a lot of modification, maybe more conquering parts of in the space, more satellites, more digital control, and something is coming here to awakening us to something else. And I want to show you something that I just found online to bring here to this presentation, and probably someone that is a time traveler or something like this added. What happened to the world in 2031? He says, the beginning of the end. Russia is trying to make a craft to destroy meteorite that will destroy us all in 2031. If something isn't done by 2036, we will all die. Also, the social security will end, and it's also supposed to be one of the years Jesus may come. Okay, when we are speaking about the end of the world, usually people are coming from a biblical description, and he says, I'm not much of a religious person. Okay, computers more intelligent than human, and technology that will keep us from aging and getting disease, and possibly even time travel, and much other stuff will happen, as you are wondering, because blah blah blah. However, hope that this video was interesting to you, encouraging you to learn more history, learn more astrology, observing more of different events that are happening, and deepening your consciousness. This is a time of awakening. And welcome all of you to follow my past videos. Also, you could check what I'm doing for finances via prediction2go.site. Bye for now.